What is going on, hexagons, pulsatons, whatever we're going to be called? It's a Saturday night in Melbourne, and I thought I'd jump on the stream with Bloobum. He's just trying to sort out his connection at the moment, but I've got someone else in the wings maybe who might be coming on. We'll see. But yeah, I thought I'd jump on and have a chat about what's been happening. Let me see if some of these guys can come on. Let me see. Hello, T-Bird. Are you there, brother? I don't think T-Bird's there. Maybe you can jump out, T-Bird, and come in again and see if you can get your audio working, mate. And I'll bring up someone else now. Bloobum, are you there? No Bloobum. I love it. Okay, so as you can all see, we have an amazing internet service in Australia, which never works. T-Bird's back. How you going, mate? Are you there? Can you hear me? I can't hear you. It's weird because you've got bars, so I can see that you're present and you've got green bars, but I just can't hear you, mate. So I'm not sure what you need to do. Maybe your settings. But let me just say good day to everyone in the chat. We've got Middle Class, we've got Crypto CR7, Maddie C85. We've got Don't Panic. No, it wasn't a rug pull, mate. We just a few technical difficulties. We've got Cone Porgs, Morton Hake, Hex Ray, Baggio, WV Native, Nardo for the win. What's going on, Nardo? We have Fatal Fury. We've got Zitzo.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Oh, there you go, Bloobum. I can hear you, mate. How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hey, awesome.
Hey. Yeah. There we go, mate. There we go. We might have a bit of a lag. So
yeah, I can hear you every now and then. Yeah. I am in set.
Oh, it's all good,
I'm
mate.
standing on the side of a highway. I went to a party. I don't
Perfect.
even know if you can hear
just
me now. But
just where you want to
stand. Go down the highway.
That's just where you want to stand while you're doing a live stream.
And pull over near the bus stop and you should be able to get reception there.
There you go. Locals with the knowledge, mate. Locals always have the
exactly.
The knowledge. They know where you need to go. And you're missing a party? You're missing a party for this?
But I've been talking to so many people about crypto, so it's ridiculous.
Well, it's crypto is like the flavor of the moment, isn't it? Like the last few months.
Everyone I meet, I'm in this. Yeah.
Ooh. You're lagging out, man. Lagging out pretty bad.
Live stream.
So I'm not sure what's going on with T-Bird, but
I'm in this really small town on the coast of Australia.
Oh yeah.
And I can't
hey Bluey,
tell you how many.
Your connection is just, it's tough, mate. It's tough.
it fully is, mate. I've met so many random people.
Oh, mate. Yeah. That just happened. I didn't boot him. That just happened by itself. Yeah, that was tough. That was tough. Hey, Johnny Chaos, how you going, mate? Feel free to jump on, brother. I'm here by myself. I had a couple of people lined up for this stream, but both of them have just got rubbish internet. I might just throw a link into the Cutthroats. And yeah, any of the Cutthroats, feel free to come on and have a chat. We're just, it's a lazy Saturday evening. Some of us don't have passes to go out to nightclubs. Not that I'd be going to nightclubs anyway, with kids in bed, responsibilities, but some of us can't go anywhere. Oh, and by the way, the other day, shout out to Middle Class Working Man, by the way. We met up during the week. We went out for just to meet up because we've been talking about it for ages and ages and ages, and we've just never done it because of all the lockdowns in our part of the world. And T-Bird, are you there, mate?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh, finally. There we go. I was
Beautiful.
just telling.
Yeah,
I was just telling everyone that I met up with Middle Class Working Man from Hex Asians. You guys have all seen Hex Asians. Middle Class is the guy working the levers in the background there, and he actually used to stream with us on the Hex Late Show back in the day, like early on, and then he went off and did Hex decided to do Hex Asians and got his crew together. But met him for the first time during the week. Dude, I rate him. He's a good guy. I really, really like that guy. I say that guy. He's just a top bloke. T-Bird's out again. So, yeah, we met at, because we both, we don't live close to each other. We're probably, we don't live far. We're probably about an hour away from each other, an hour and a bit. And we met sort of somewhere in a mutual place, somewhere that we thought would be good. And we went and got, we wanted to go get a meal, but we couldn't really go sit in a restaurant because we're both in the same situation where we don't have the right documentation to do that. Let me just see if T-Bird's. Are you there, mate?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I'll try and stay put.
You were good a second ago, but then you just dropped out. I was just saying that when I met up with Middle Class, we couldn't go and sit in a restaurant because of our circumstances. We don't have the documentation to do that. So we just got some fish and chips from a takeaway place and just went down to the foreshore there, and just sat down, had a chat, and just chewed the fat for a bit, and just talked about Hex, talked about Pulse, talked about what's going on, the price, and how's the price, by the way? I mean, we dropped down to 14.5 cents, and now we're back up to, what is it, 27, 28 cents, if it's still doing that. Let me check, actually. What is the price doing at the moment? I had a look this morning, but I haven't looked at it since. And where are we? I know it's just had this huge pump. Yeah, we're like in the 27-cent range, which is like, it's an amazing price. And obviously if you bought higher, you're probably not happy with the price. But if you bought higher, you bought in such a short amount of time prior to this date. Like, it's only been above 27 cents, for a very limited amount of time. So we're talking like a couple of months, and most of the people who are happy with the price at this point have been in it for a long time. So it's very much a matter of, in my opinion, it's very much a matter of just, doing the time, really. You spend time in the market, it tends to work out quite positively in the long run. How are we going, T-Bird?
Yeah, have you got me again?
Yeah, I've got you. It's just you're dropping out, mate, every couple of minutes.
I might have been the VPN. I've taken the VPN off.
Oh, yep. Nice, mate. Nice. So yeah, I was just how you been, brother?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Just obviously watching with interest with this beautiful pump that we're seeing, and yeah, it's very bullish. A lot of bullish signals at the moment, and just sitting back, doing my thing, and yeah, not much else really.
It's so good to see that price just pump in that way. It reminds you what Hex can do. I mean, it reminds you what crypto can do in general, doesn't it? I mean, all cryptos can do that.
I think it's also going to give a little bit of just psychological relief for a lot of the noobs that got in at the top, just to see just how quickly and efficiently Hex can bounce from this kind of dip.
But just word to the noobs, though. I mean, you sort of, when you're in crypto, you sort of have to have brass balls. You really have to have like a pair of balls on you just to get through this sort of stuff, because it can make you question whether you've made the right choice. But you just need to look back at the history. I mean, past performance is not an indication of future performance, right? But you just need to look at the history of Hex to see what it tends to do. It tends to run up, and then it will come back, and it will just tend to go up and then come back, up and come back. But there has been times.
But the difference with Hex compared to the rest of the shit out there is that it's literally programmed into the actual how the code is designed for it to go up and to the right with more ferocity than the average crypto that happens to just manage to survive over a journey of multiple years. There is a differentiation there, I think.
Hey, we have a visitor. We have a visitor here. The great Johnny Chaos.
Oh, no way.
How you going, brother? How are you? Oh, yeah, your audio, mate. No, can't hear you. Johnny Chaos, guys. Johnny Chaos with us on a Saturday evening in Melbourne. Not sure what time it is where you are. I'm assuming it's a Saturday morning early wherever you are. That's my assumption. But if you don't know Johnny Chaos, all of 2000, like the second half of 2020 and the first half of 2021, the best Twitter rants going. The best Twitter rants. That shit kept me going, man. It kept me going.
Can you hear me now?
100%.
Yes.
Awesome.
How are you, brother?
It's always in my feeds too. I catch him in my feeds too. He's like, "Yeah, you go."
We love it, man. We love hearing you rant. Did you hear? Do you know who did a rant that just got me going.
Huddle
Huddle dog, yes. There's nothing better than hearing like you know. He's a very humble sort of, comes across as a very like mild mannered, humble guy.
friendly guy, yeah.
Yeah. So to see him just crack the fucking shits like in a stream, I loved it. It just got me going. I actually invited him to come on, but I don't know if he didn't get back to me. He must be busy.
Well, you know, and the thing was, you know, Clay and I both interviewed for the Hex documentary at the same time. They sent 2 camera groups out. One came to visit me, and one came to visit Clay. You know, here's the issue we've really got, right? Is Hex really doesn't belong with the other coins. Their business model is really to sell things that have no real measurable metrics. The only real measurable metric they have is price and supply. That's like the only way they can create some kind of evaluation for those coins that have no other metric. And then you got us coming along. Well, we don't really actually belong on their list because we have all of these metrics and dynamics that none of the other coins do. If we are on a list under our dynamics, nobody else is on the list. So they're really kind of in a rock and a hard place because they have been marketing things that really have no measurable metrics. And then here we come along and we have all of these measurable metrics. So I get it. It's wrong. But it's like, you know, if you're a vacuum cleaner salesman, you don't go into the automotive business. You know, it's kind of messed up. You know, if you go onto a Apple website, you don't see advertisements for PC. So that's kind of the thing that's going on here is that, you know, really honestly, we have a product. They're selling something totally different over there, you know, and that's where their money's coming from. That's where the revenue is coming from.
Snake oil over there, mate. That's what they're selling.
It's snake oil. It is. It absolutely is. Or me and RG were talking about it. It's like Pokemon cards. They're buying pictures and promises, right? And maybe the border changes, but it's just coins with send and receive function. We're not a coin with just a send and receive function. We are a complete product. And here's the deal. If we were still number 3, we would still be sending people over there to see the other things that are potentially harmful because we want to see our name on the list. So we'll say, okay, let's be on that list, right? You know, let's be on the list. Look, we like to see our name on the list. I get it. Everybody wants to see their names on lists. But the fact is, by pointing people over there, because we'll go back up to number 3. We will. And our whole community is going to be cheering. Oh, we're back up to number 3. They couldn't hold us down. We're number 3 over at Nomics. What do we do then? We send everybody back over to Nomics to see the harmful things. And what do we actually do? We're actually perpetuating this market cap vanity metric as having value. We are giving this market cap thing value. In all actuality, it has no value at all. It never has. Unfortunately, people believe that it does. So we made that effort to talk to them on their level. And really what it comes down to is we're better than that. We don't need to accept their Santa Claus story that this market cap thing actually works. We need to change the narrative and not give these people any credit. Yeah, you want to go over to the playground with the barbed wire and barbed wire and landmines and snakes and broken glass, go on over there to a market cap site. But we shouldn't be sending people there no matter where they put us on any list. You know what I mean?
Do you know what's better than market cap? The value of what's been staked by the users.
Total lock value.
Yeah. That's like, so we might be sitting on like 16 or 17 billion dollars right now of staked value. Now that let's take a step back and look at what that actually is. That's people who had liquid coins, liquid tokens in their address, and they made the call themselves that they were going to run a function in the contract to burn those tokens and get the T-shares that's going to pay them their daily interest for a predetermined amount of time. So, I mean, if you think about the commitment that goes into making a decision like that, it really is, in my opinion, a much better metric than just looking at a market cap, which, you know, we all know that these things get gamed. And, you know, not only that, I mean, I'll tell you what, another thing that gets gamed more so that I hear people go on and on about is volume. They go on and on about volume as if it's some sort of important metric.
Well, they go on and on about volume because the entire crypto world has all been about trading.
Yeah.
And Hex is not a trading coin.
Right.
That's right. But it gets gamed though, because what happens is that it gets wash traded. You know, so people just game that, and then it makes it seem as if it's this token that's doing all these things and it's got all this money moving around in it, sloshing around in it. Whereas in Hex, it's the opposite, because what you have is people are locking up, and then once you've locked up, you don't need to do anything anymore, like until you end stake. That's it. You're done. No movement.
It was funny because we were asking, well, what other metrics can we use? How do we make a market assessed value sort of thing, right? And here's the thing: you can't. You know why you can't? Because they have no other measurable metrics. All they have to count is total supply and price. That's all they have to count. Really think about it. How else do you count one of these coins that is basically just a send and receive function? There's no measurable metrics. That was totally created in order to give these things the presence of value and a perception of value. Okay? Hex does not need that metric at all. We do not need to ever mention market cap or volume. Market cap and volume is for plebs.
Exactly.
Okay? We have one, total locked value, as OG says. Okay? We have T-shares. We have T-share rate. We have future market supply. You see some variables. Now, what else? Oh, does anybody other coin have that sort of thing? No. So how are they supposed to be on our list? They can't, because we're not the same. We are not a typical ERC20 token, and we need to stop degrading ourselves down to competing with them. It's not fair. Nothing competes with Hex. Nothing has the metrics Hex has. Why do we want to go play in their little space where we already know that we win? It's like a professional athlete fighting kindergartners. Okay? There is no competition here, and they know it. And we've also shown, because they have moved the statistics down, they have moved stuff around, we already know, and we have proof that market cap sites just pretty much list our shopping list, and they list whatever they want, however they want, you know, for no reason at all, and it has no validity. This has dismissed their validity. They don't have any validity. They have lost all their value. They have lost the whole community. We don't have to mention them. No new user has to even know market cap sites exist. The only reason people even know what a market cap is when we tell them. Stop telling them. It's that simple. We don't talk about those metrics. If one of our onboards mentions it to us, what do we tell them? We say, oh, that silly thing? Nah, that doesn't matter. It's over. We won. It's over.
Yep. It's so true, man. It's so true. And so I've seen some stuff on Twitter. I haven't gotten into it. Not that interested in all that stuff. I don't want to give it any air. But I would say to people out there, we tend to get the same concerns over and over again. People saying the same stuff. You know, the volume, the circulating supply, the OA, all this stuff. Look, nothing. There is nothing out there that has the functions, the DeFi functions. Like let's just look at that side of it. Decentralized finance, right? Hex is the perfect fit when it comes to decentralized finance, because if you look at for example, Bitcoin is a decentralized network, in my opinion. In my opinion, it's decentralized, but it is just send and receive. So it's just a store of value, send and receive, right? Whereas Hex is the first of its kind. You know, it's a trailblazer. And what Richard Hart has created is, and it's, in my mind, it's no exaggeration to say that it is, you know, it could be the thing that changes the world. It could change the world. I've been saying this for about a year now, like on repeat, that I think Hex is changing the world, and you know it's going to be volatile, but there is nothing like it out there. There is absolutely nothing like it out there, and what we have now, after what, almost 2 years, is we've had a share price that continually goes up as it's hard coded into the contract. And what that means is that when you lock up your tokens, you're getting these T-shares, and then you're accruing interest. At the end of your stake, you're going to get your principal and the interest minted. Right now, if you want to keep that earning power, because of the share rate always getting more expensive, you're going to have to lock up those tokens for longer. So it's been designed in a very, very clever way. The inflation in the system maxes out at 3.69%.
And it's deferred.
And it's deferred as well. So yeah, exactly. So there's there's a lot of things about this that that, you know, when you get into Hex, you're not paying attention to them, but as you delve deeper, you start to learn about them and realize just how amazingly it's been designed.
Go ahead, T-Bird. Now we lost him. I'm like, go ahead, T-Bird, because he was waiting to get the sentence in there. I'm like, go ahead. Now he's gone. Damn it.
Yeah. What's been going on, man? What's been happening with you?
Well, documentary crew. I got to hang with the documentary crew. They said, "Oh, we're gonna film 90 minutes." I was like, "You realize, like, I can talk 90 minutes without taking a breath, right? You think you're just gonna be here for 90 minutes?" And ended up being like 3 hours. And so they hung out with me for 3 hours, and I gave them a bunch of little nitbits. So I pulled the original files of some of my videos off my phone and gave them a flash drive with that. So they got that extra footage to use for the thing. I said, "You guys do realize, right? This is a documentary about Hex. It's not a documentary about me." You know? So I don't know what's going to make it into the cut. You know, what's going to make it in, what's not. They liked my angry video because, I mean, we're all hurt. And the reason we're hurt is because we wanted a friend in this space, right? We're like trying to fit into this space. We're still expecting that this space that's full of people that have their own self-interest. Actually, we thought we had an ally. Well, we were silly for doing that because no one in this space wants something that's going to outcompete everything else, especially if they're in the market and they're in the business of selling ads and advertisements for the land of misfit toys. And I mean, that's really what it comes down to, is it is the land of misfit toys over there. You cannot have a real physical product that, you know, just blows everything away. You're going to have to keep moving it down the list. Your sponsors are not going to pay you to be on the list when this other thing just continues to kill everything on your list, and it will. Hex will. So now what Clay's got over there is actually he's going to have to continue to move the goalpost and continue to look crappy, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you move Hex. It's not going to change what it is. It's not going to change what it does. It changes people's perception of what it does. And, you know, not that I agree with Trey much, but the point is, the people that are believing this perception of value via market cap now think Hex's market cap's lower, and now they've got that weird calculation in their head thinking that, oh, well, well, now I can buy it because the market cap's lower, even though the price isn't. The market cap's lower. So people just got a weird idea on what they think gives things value. And value is the willingness for people to purchase. Whether it's you, whether it's anybody else, it doesn't matter what you personally think. What value is when people are willing to take something of value and put it into something else. It's funny to watch the crypto space. They don't understand that simple concept. They'll be like, what gives it value? The willingness to take something of value and put it into something else. That is called value creation. How can you be in crypto and not understand that concept that that's how value is created? They've got 1 million followers and they don't understand that Ethereum got value because people took their Bitcoin and put it into Ethereum. They took their thing of value and they put it into Ethereum, and that's what initiated Ethereum having value. When people put their US dollars into Bitcoin when it was first came out, that is how it first obtained value. You don't understand this concept? Get out of the crypto space. Apparently, you don't understand value.
Hey, I was watching an interview with a gentleman called Adam Stokes, who I'm subscribed to his channel. He's a very bright chap, and he does great interviews. But he put it out there a while back that if someone could come and talk about the negatives about Hex, which I always welcome. Like I think it's great to have people actually come out and try and present legitimate arguments against Hex. So anyway, I watched it, and in the guy's defense, the Hex, hater guy, English wasn't his first language, so he was doing his best to explain. And it might not have been the easiest interview to watch for a lot of people. But towards the end, I watched the whole thing, and he basically only came up with 2 points, which the first one was that there was like an airdrop. But he said, the way he framed it was that Hex was sent to like many 100 Hex was sent to many wallets. Yeah. And which is that's an airdrop, right? That is an airdrop, but somehow, I don't know how, but somehow he framed that into being something scammy, right? Mate, it's a friggin' airdrop.
Yeah, well, we were the first ones to actually utilize the ZK sync, and we did that airdrop to MetaMask wallets. Or not MetaMask, Monarch wallets. Right?
No, that was a different. Well, actually, I don't know if it was a different one or not, but there was one for Monarch wallets, which was about 63 Hex, right? Yeah. But this one was for 100 Hex. But I think they were both airdrops. And since when has airdrops in crypto been like? I mean, actually, there are airdrops that are scams that actually try and get you to. But this is a legit airdrop that if you have the private key to that address, you can go and spend that Hex. So legit.
It was what I believe it was a distribution to get it out there. It was a free airdrop. It was a free, here's your first hit. You got some in your wallet. There were probably like a list of wallets that were just dropped to, and because for that reason, why? It's a freemium, right? 100 Hex wasn't much back then.
It was nothing.
Look at the time. Yeah. Look at the time when that airdrop occurred. 100 Hex was like penny, right? So what do? You give somebody something in their wallet and they watch the price go up, right? They're like, oh, this doesn't mean anything. I'm just going to leave it alone. And they come back and now 100 Hex is worth $50, so
amazing.
At 50 cents, we're $50. So I guess we're right now 100 Hex is now $27. There's my math.
Hey, that's still incredible. Absolutely incredible. Now the other point that he made, well, the other point that the guy with the Hex hater guy was making on that Adam Stokes interview was that old like argument that all proof of work people make that what's it like, where does the value come from? Like if I'm mining, I'm making value. And I was just thinking to myself, what is more valuable than your time in your life, which you cannot get back? There is nothing more valuable than that. Like I just didn't. I just feel like there's a level of cognitive dissonance when it comes to that argument, because it's so ingrained in their mind that proof of work it's expending energy, therefore
waste makes value. It's the waste makes value equation, and they think that waste makes value. Okay, this is how you address that. Very simple. The government makes money. Where's it come from? Where's the waste? In fact, a matter of fact, they're like, well, they print physical money. No, they don't. If they were to print physical money, printing $100 bills 24/7, it would take over 320 years to catch up with the money that's actually in circulation. All they do for their proof of work is they add a zero. That's what they do. They add a zero. Digitally add a zero. That's where the government money comes from. There you go. Now you know. And they can distribute it to all of their friends and add a zero.
I was thinking about this today, Johnny, and it just, when I was thinking about it, it was just blowing my mind that, okay, you guys have like house auctions, like a big thing over in, because that's like a lot of houses here in Australia, they just sell at auction rather than private sale. And I was just thinking, okay, so you've got, I think that there's very few people, below the age of 50 or whatever, who would go out and buy a house without having a loan. I think most people who go out and need to buy a house, they've got their deposit. In Australia, usually you want to have like probably 20%. Otherwise, you have to pay mortgage insurance and all this other, add-ons. So most people would have like 20%. And let's say you've got two, I was thinking about this today. You've got two people at an auction. They've both got 20%, right? They're going to have 20%, and they're bidding against each other with money, with imaginary money that the central bank is going to create and give to them. So they're bidding against each other to push up the price with imaginary money, which is going to mean that when that house sells, they're going to have to pay the state government, in Australia at least, stamp duty tax. It's fucking bizarre, man. Like, when I was just thinking about it, this is a bizarre system.
Because value
with fake money.
Yeah, money, everything's fake money. It's just who's playing the game. Okay, the government money is monopoly money. They just happen to be the banker in the game. That's it. Okay, it has value because they say it does. Okay, so all of this, that's Richard's quote was, our imaginary money is better than their imaginary money. Okay, no, people are not ready to face that concept. Okay,
that's
now
so true.
Here's the problem: when people go from fiat to Bitcoin, I don't understand how they can make that argument anymore. How come they think Bitcoin has value, but the other things cannot? Bitcoin has proven that other things outside of fiat can have value. Why is it they have the inability to accept that something else can also have value, right? We don't have one type of car. We don't have one type of boat, one type of plane. We don't have one type of anything, okay? Why do they think that there can only be one type of cryptocurrency? Not all tools do the same job. A hammer and a screwdriver are used for two different purposes, right? What it is because they're threatened. They're threatened because their old technology that they're invested in is becoming obsolete. So they're trying to hold on to it as tightly as they can because it's becoming obsolete. They see the writing on the wall that Hex is a better one. It's a productive store of value. It's not just a store of value. It's a productive store of value. You no longer have the waste. And the waste is part of how they've justified, well, that's all they can hold on to. They can hold on to the old ways. I earned it. Well, you know what?
They can say, they can, and I'm going to try and steel man the Bitcoin, just to the Bitcoin side of the argument. I'm going to try and steel man it. They were the first to the party, and they've got the first movers advantage. So they're like, well, we have, like, we're the big man on campus, and we're going to try and keep that position. So I think, like, from that perspective, they're going to try and hold on to their top dog position. But I think this idea that there can only be one, it's flawed. It really is flawed, because there's so many things that Bitcoin cannot do. And this idea that they're going to build on top and have contracts and all this stuff on top, it's ridiculous. It's not made for that.
Where's it at?
Yeah, exactly. Where's it at? It's and look, other chains will do a better job. Like other chains will do a better job of being Bitcoin's layer 2, you know. They will do a better job of it. And as we like move forward in this space, and you know, things get developed, I mean, there's still, obviously there is no trustless bridge at this point in time. I hope that gets developed at some stage, you know, and I don't know what has to go into it, but I've heard Kyle talk about it, and he was saying something along the lines of, you know, if you really want a trustless bridge, you need to have a protocol that has access to both sides. You know, you need something that has access to the Ethereum. Let's, for example, if you wanted a bridge between Pulse and Ethereum, you need something that has the Ethereum chain and the Pulse chain, and then it can access data from both, and then there could be a bridge. But like, you know, who's going to build that? Because there's not going to be much money in it, right?
Yeah, no. So it's got to be like a repository, you know. So a coin comes in and one side locks, a different coin is produced on the other side and is released. If this coin comes back in, this coin becomes locked, and then this coin releases. So that's what they're trying to do as far as a trustless bridge. But the problem is somebody's got to manually lock and unlock things right now, and that in the code, and that's where the
But you also need to also have like the ratio between the two, and there's no way for one.
Yeah,
because you need an oracle. Otherwise, you need an oracle.
Yeah, so it's kind of a wrapped. No, it's got to be 1 for 1. So it's a wrapped or whatever. It'd be 1 for 1, you know, because it's a mirror image of the coin that you're sending over. So if it's Ethereum, it doesn't matter. It's still 1 Ethereum. It would unlock as 1 Ethereum over here on this chain. So it doesn't matter if you're trading back and forth. It goes. The shadow Ethereum becomes the real Ethereum. The real Ethereum becomes the shadow Ethereum. So it's coin for coin on the different networks. It doesn't matter what its dollar value is, because that's going to change. So in order to lock them, you have to have a way to mirror the universes where they maintain that just a 1-to-1 ratio for whatever coin it is.
So the locking and unlocking has to be, at the moment, that has to be manually done. Yeah. Manually. Okay.
There's a checkpoint, and someone has to release it. So like Matic did that, right? So it could take up to 13 hours to move across the bridge. And that's why Hexa was all freaking out, because nobody flipped the switch. He sent his money over there and it was just gone, right? Until someone flips the switch, because you're sending it to their repository and someone's got to release the tokens on the other side.
Yep. Yeah.
So your money could be lost for quite some time. And that's the thing we got to clean up, right? Nobody wants their money gone. You send $1 million across the internet, you think it's gone, you'd be like, you know,
yeah. So there's got to be, I mean, there's got to be a trustless way, but I think it's just going to take time. I think it's just going to take time. They'll get to it. The devs, I think, you know what? I think that Hexagons will finance a lot of development over the coming years. I think that's what we've been indoctrinated with. That sounds almost pejorative, but not in a bad way. It's not indoctrinated in the bad way. We believe that things should be trustless. So hopefully these things happen, because that's what's going to create a good DeFi space in future, and that's what we want. Because, you know, Hex is not going to be the only thing. There's plenty of other stuff out there, but Hex has carved out an amazing place for itself. It is like, it can be a really big chunk of DeFi, And I think that
When
term
you
deposit
say
or time.
OG, when you say DeFi, what else is DeFi?
The
What
only
else is
thing, the
actually
only thing
DeFi?
the only thing that I think of that falls into that sort of space, there's only a couple of things. I think it's like the dexes,
Yeah.
and things like some of the mixes that are out there, like Tornado Cash and stuff. To me, they're the the anonymizers, I should say. They're the only DeFi things that I can think of, and everything else has
But the
like,
mixers are taking a fee, and the dexes are taking a fee. So if you really think about it, they are decentralized middlemen in a way. So we're still looking at a situation where we're not talking about trustless. We are talking about entities that are taking their cut. They just found a more clever way to take their cut where we're a little bit more comfortable with it. And this is what you'll see, is the fact that everything is about the people that are already in power trying to get their cut. And Ethereum even found a way to take their cut on Hex. How did they do that? Well, they raised the shit out of the gas fees. They got a cut out of that. They got a cut out of NFTs. They got a cut out of everything, right? So they are more concerned about abstracting value out of, or not abstracting,
extracting
value out of the system rather than growing the system. I don't see anybody in the crypto space actually interested in growing the crypto space other than the Hex community. We are the ones that are out there onboarding. And we're not doing it by saying, yeah, you get a 2x with Bitcoin if you buy now. Okay, 2x's don't excite anybody. Retail gets a 2x every day. You don't have to worry about that at all. So I mean, it's not like you have to take the risk for Bitcoin if you're a retail person. Well, what's a 2x? But as far as the space, they're not interested in growing the space. It's all about extracting value. The only people that are building right now that are not trying to extract value and actually improve the system state as it is the Hex community. And eventually people will catch on to that. But whenever you're innovative, you are going to get the most resistance. The people in power do not want to give up that space that they are able to play within the rules that they wrote and extract value. We're different. We're above that.
And what's going on within like crypto with Hex and is sort of a microcosm of what's actually going on with crypto and governments around the world. Like, in my opinion, it's like a microcosm of that. Like, there's the people who have power, who are always trying to hang on to that power for dear life and trying to squeeze. Like, it's slipping away and they're squeezing harder. But as they squeeze harder, it's going to slip away more. And the same is true for these legacy crypto,
meet the old boss, same as the old boss. That's what you got going here. Meet the old boss, same as the old boss. You get people that get in a position of power, and then they say, hey, this corruption works really good over there. Why don't we see if we can better replicate that so we can cash in on it more? That's what it comes down to.
So just going back to like Dex's, by the way, hey, going Bluey? What's going on, mate?
Hey guys, how you going? Hey Fabio, Johnny Chaos, looking good, man. Hair's looking beautiful.
Thanks, sir.
You finally got on, Bluey. Like,
thanks for filling in, man. I thought I'd be able to get connection. The locals are telling me, yeah, you just go down. So I wanted to go to the party and sort of do the live stream, but I'm back now. Just quickly came back and we're good.
Bluey.
Well, now you got internet. We can hear you. There's not really a lag either, so that's kind of nice.
Yeah. Bluey's out in the sticks. Where are you, Bluey? You're like
I'm in
somewhere in Queensland.
I'm in a beautiful spot. I'm in this like really, really small town on the east coast of Australia. I'm actually really close to a place called 1770, and it was where Captain Cook first kind of docked in to Australia in 1770. And it's this really small community of people, just heaps of artists. Like the first day I turned up here, like I'm in an Airbnb and like there was they're having a jam, and there was like 30 people over here and just the most really high level musicians, and everyone was just like jamming away for the whole night. It was just brilliant. And it's like taking a step back in time to the 90s or something, like people gathering together and having jams and now it's really beautiful.
Yes,
And
before
I can't
the
tell you how
bang.
many people. I can't tell you how many people I've met who I've been trying to onboard. So many people I've met who are in the biggest array of shit coins you've ever heard. They know that crypto is the
I
answer,
can't even talk to
but they
people
just
with
have no
Bitcoins anymore.
clue. They're just like the stuff that they've got is just on these lists of just like this and that, and it's hilarious. But yeah, so
They
it's all
got
good. I'm
collector's
just like,
cards. They got collector's cards. Ask them, what could you do with it? And you know what? Some of them can't even send and receive because they got it on the Robinhood app. So they don't actually own real crypto because there's no address. They actually have an IOU for crypto that they don't really
all got them
own.
on exchanges. They're all on exchanges basically.
Oh,
they're all on, CoinSpot or Coinbase or whatever like that. And they even know that, oh yeah, I should have it on my own thing, but it's easier for them and they don't do it,
It's hard.
So yeah. But it's an
And it's
education
hard.
process, you know what I mean? It's an education and I'm meeting and I had a beautiful massage today, and after a massage I was like telling the masseur about Hex and stuff, and so I'm having breakfast with her tomorrow morning. I'm just going to give her the whole spiel on crypto. Everyone knows crypto is the answer. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone knows they got to get into crypto. It's ubiquitous now. Even when you come out to small town Australia in the middle of nowhere kind of thing, word has gotten around. And because of the Commonwealth Bank, one of our biggest, our biggest bank in Australia has decided they're going to onboard people, or they're going to custody crypto for people or whatever,
I wouldn't even use crypto. I wouldn't even use the word crypto to describe Hex. I really wouldn't. It's a complete financial product. It's beyond crypto. What crypto is and what crypto's become.
But slow steps. You've got to give the history to know where Hex comes in the history. Like Bitcoin, everyone knows Bitcoin. So it's like, okay, you've heard of Bitcoin. This is why it's so valuable, blah, 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 blah. Then came Ethereum, then came Hex. And you've got to give them that history lesson. You know what I mean? So they know where it fits into the spectrum or whatever like that,
Well, it depends on how much they know about Bitcoin, because maybe where you're at, maybe 9 out of 10 people know. Where I'm at, maybe 2 out of 10 people actually know what Bitcoin is. So
it's
a matter of
everyone's heard about it in Australia.
It's guerrilla marketing, right? We make an assumption that everybody knows what crypto is because we're in it, right? So we take for granted the knowledge that we have, and we project that onto others, thinking that, well, we know it, they should know it. In all actuality, when you actually start talking to people, you find out how little they know. And, like I said, we were talking about market cap. It's a useless metric, but you know what? We don't have to tell people that market cap exists. There's no reason for that, right? We don't need to call Hex a crypto if people don't know what crypto is, or if they have an adverse reaction to crypto because they've been in crypto before in 2017 and they got wrecked. So it's almost to a certain advantage.
You do. I think you do need to tell them it's crypto, because you have to get across the fact that you own your private keys and you're not giving, and that you're responsible for the security of your private keys. And also, they don't understand how it works. And you need to explain it's a public database and you hold the private keys and you're able to move things on that private.
Why do you have to call it crypto? Why do you have to use the word crypto?
Because crypto is so well known. It's so well known, and everyone is talking about it. Everyone knows. What else are you going to call it?
I think you guys might both be right, because you'll have some people. You're going to have some people that you have to frame things differently for different people. If you've got a customer, in my shop, when we used to be open before lockdowns, we don't tend to be open anymore. Depending on who the customer is, you might frame something differently, and I think the same holds true for when you're presenting, Hex to someone. It really depends where. Like, for example, my 79-year-old auntie, wanted to get into Hex because I was telling her about it. There's no point me explaining to her, to Johnny's point. There's no point me explaining to her crypto. There's just no point. It's a waste of my breath, because she doesn't even know how to turn on the computer, right? So that, do you know what I mean? So you in that circumstance, yeah, you don't need to at all. And then if there's someone's in shitcoins, I think there's value in saying, look, what you've got there, you've got Pokemon cards there. You've got that is actually, you're just playing, you're flicking cards up against a wall with that stuff. What this is actual code that is immutable, that's been designed, to make yield. So it's a different
framing. If you're trying to talk to somebody who's been in crypto and they lost their ass, you say crypto, they're gone. You say the word crypto, they're gone. And a lot more people had adverse reaction than made money in crypto. So there are people that will never, ever, ever, ever come back. I'm one of them. You ain't going to sell me on no crypto. I will not buy any more crypto. I'm only into finished financial products. I'm not interested in what the next shiny object is. There is no way in hell that I give a shit what coin market cap sites are or what more coins are coming out. Hex does what it does. It works. Pulse is a network. It's not a crypto. It's a network. The way I see it is it's the means to utilize my Hex for cheaper fees. So we don't have to go into the playground of pain. We don't have to send people to the playground of pain, because that's what you're going to find on these coin market cap sites.
The way that I've been pitching it to people is that you're going to have to go on a journey of learning and understanding, because the only way you're going to feel comfortable about putting your money into something is if you understand it. And so you're going to have to learn. And I tell people, listen, I can show you where the water is, but you're going to have, if you're to drink it, you're going to have to put a bit of effort in, and you're going to have to go on a learning journey. And I say it in an inspirational way. Like I say, like it's out there. I can show you how to get it and how to drink.
You need to know how to ride a horse to drive a car. I mean, really what it comes down to. Do you need to ride a horse to drive a car? Do you need to have an education on horse and buggy?
No, but you got to know how to drive a car
Well, yeah, but Hex is the car, not the horse and buggy. So why are we trying to make them go back and learn history when they're not going to learn, when you could just give them the Hex layman's guide and say, look, this is DeFi. The other garbage you're going to come across isn't. Don't waste your time. You're going to lose your ass. Here is the manual. We've got the book on Amazon. We've got the Hex layman's guide. If they need to understand it from there, we don't need to tell them the history, the historical history. I mean, it's important to you.
I mean, that's what I do. That's what I do, because I want people to understand what they're putting their money into, and maybe that's just how I feel more comfortable about doing it. And everyone's going to have their own ways of explaining or shilling or whatever. You know what I mean? So
no. I'm not trying to take away from what you're doing. I'm just saying the question is, here's your average person. Somebody said this coin's popular. Buy. That's your average person. That's what they do. I was onboarding a lady, and I was trying to get her to purchase her Ethereum to get her Hex, right? And she's in her crypto.com app, and she goes, oh, buy crypto. I'm like, what did you do? She said, I bought crypto. I'm like, what did you do? What did you buy? What crypto did you buy? Where's it at? What's the address? I had no idea what she did. She just dropped $500, just pushed the damn button. And I'm like, I don't even know what you did. Would you wait a second? People are not waiting for an explanation. They want direction, and they want to click that damn happy red jolly button. And when Hex gets to the point where all you have to do is click a button and go buy Hex, it's over. It's over. At that point, it's over, because we do not have to expose them to the other things that may or may not be potentially harmful. We don't have to educate them about the extra stuff, because once it gets to the point where it's just buy Hex, why do we need why do we need to sell them on other things that they don't need? That's my thought on it. I mean, we really have to redirect.
Yeah, but it's not. We haven't got that fiat to.
Can I just jump in here for a second, mate? We've just got a question. It's been there for a couple of minutes. I want to quickly address it. This is from John May. Hey, I've been onboarding people like crazy, and my boy told me to give them my staker link or something, and I'll get 20% of whatever they invest. Is this true?
No,
If
that's
so,
not how it works.
okay, no. You get 20% of the fees of the Staker app fees. So Staker app charge like a fee for their service.
$1
It's
or
not a
$2
huge-
or something.
Yeah, it's not a huge fee.
So you're
but
getting like 20 cents.
Yeah, but you will get that. You will get that 20 cents for everything they do from that point on. Now that referral fee is actually in your Staker app. If you go up to, I think there's a hamburger menu in the top left-hand corner. You click that, and then it should have referral. It might be in the settings or something. Just play around, you'll find it, and you've got a unique referral address for your Staker app. You just give that link to people, and if they click on that link, then you'll automatically get 20% of the fees that come from their transactions in perpetuity.
Yeah, so they're not getting, they're not having to pay any kind of fee to you. It was already going to be paid to Staker, and Staker are just giving that 20% to the referrer.
Staker's taking a 20% cut to give it to the referrer. Yeah.
Well, they're not taking a 20. The fee isn't 20%. The fee is like $1 or $2 or something for a transaction, and then the user the referral gets 20% of that $1 or $2. That's all it is.
So it's not coming out of like the user or anything.
So I've got like 30. Yeah, I've got like 30 referrals, and I've made like $50 in the past 2 years. So it's not really that big of a deal.
It's more bragging rights.
It's more like this is how many people I onboarded. It's more like bragging rights, and it's a fee that they're going to pay anyway. It's just like when Coinbase charges a fee per transaction, and Coinbase isn't giving that fee to nobody. So it's nice of Staker to earn, give a little bit back to the referrers, but it's not by all means any way of making money in Hex. You want to make money in Hex, you buy that shit, you stake it. That's how you make money in Hex.
Hey, Johnny, I want to tell you about like you know how we were talking about Tornado Cash before, and you mentioned the fees.
Mm-hmm.
If you go, you can actually use Tornado Cash with like any of the other, like some of the other EVM networks, like for example, like Matic, and Matic have theirs, and it's basically free. Now the anonymity set is shit. Like there's not. Yeah. So you lose on that end. But what's going to be great? And I know in the US it's different. Like I think mixers are like it's actually you're not meant to use them or something in the US.
Yeah, they frown on that a little bit.
Yeah. So I haven't seen anything in Australia about that. I don't think it's.
Here's the thing with mixers though. Technically, really, if you want to mix, you can send your coins to an exchange and then pull them off the exchange. Because what the exchange does is the exchange puts it in their wallet. Okay. And then they tend to, then it gets released.
But in Australia, to be on an exchange, you got to do the whole full KYC. And that's probably the same in the States, no? You like say.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah. But in Australia, they banned the privacy coins. Like they banned Monero. You can't get that on exchanges. And they might have banned Dash as well, I think.
Yeah, so they've just banned the exchanges from selling them, but they haven't banned like private individuals from doing.
They can't.
Yeah. I think Dash has its use. If you're looking for like a privacy coin, you're looking for like a digital cash to spend. I think Dash has a use. I would like to see that we do have like a bridge, or not a bridge, but an exchange pair for Dash. And the problem is it's not an ERC20; it's its own thing. So we need some sort of atomic swap.
Oh yeah, bridge would be awesome, or atomic swap, hey?
Yeah, something like that would be great. Because we do have somewhat of ally. See, I'm worried about this, right? We're not going to get any allies. Innovation never gets allies. Innovation gets resistance. The old world, new world thing, you're always going to get resistance. But we do have some of the community in Dash that do use Hex and see the value of Hex, because what they're using is for digital cash and not for store value. So there is potential for crossover, I say, in that particular area. And
I think it's going to have to come like when so many people have crypto and the store of value is really in crypto, then businesses will have to start accepting crypto. And that's when you get all these different payment options, I think, and you'll be getting all of the bashes, people accepting all of the different, ones that are good for payments as opposed to store of value.
Well, I run a business. I can accept crypto now. All I got to do is send it to my staker app. I'll take Hex.
I bet you will.
You guys can pay me in Hex. I'll take Hex. We'll just, I'll let you scan my staker app. You can just ship it right here. I'll pull up my code. You just take your little button, you scan it, and you can send to me. This is the thing. It's really that easy, but there aren't enough people using crypto in that capacity. That's the thing. They are using it more towards the store of value. They're not interested in spending their crypto. And then when they do hold it, they hold it on like Robinhood apps, and all they can do on the Robinhood app is hit the sell button if it's there, when it's there, because they don't actually have a wallet address to send it from their wallet to some other wallet. And that's what I noticed is these platforms, they are basically just handing out IOUs. They're providing you a unit of account, and they're saying you hold crypto, but in all actuality, you don't even know if they hold crypto. It's paper crypto. It could be fractional reserve crypto. But here's the thing that people don't think about. You notice how those exchanges always go down when all of a sudden there's a spike? The question is, do they really have the crypto they say they do in custody?
Of course not. Of course not.
We become fractional reserve crypto. So that's not crypto either. So crypto.
That's the only way they get the speed. That's the only way they get the speed of transactions and the cheapness of the transactions, because they've got their own Excel spreadsheet over there.
They're just moving their units of account. They're charging you for changing the numbers on your unit of account. You're not actually holding a wallet.
Their wallet doesn't move anything. Their actual wallet that holds the crypto does nothing. It just sits there. It sits there, and they're just moving numbers on the spreadsheet.
Yeah. So here's the deal. This is why I say this, Bloobum. When we're talking about crypto as it actually is, it's not what it's supposed to be. So it's not really even real crypto. Hex is heading in the direction of real crypto. Self-cost is you're holding your own keys, doing your own work, et cetera, et cetera. The system of crypto as it stands is replicating the old system, just new people in control. So you've got fractional reserve crypto. Does Tether have to have full amount of money in the bank to print more Tether, or can they just print as much Tether as they want? We were talking about that earlier about the government printing as much money as they want. Well, we've got Tether. Tether is the same thing as the government. They don't have any responsibility. They're fractional reserve crypto. They can pump the prices indefinitely because they can print as much as they want and buy as much crypto with their monopoly money, and nobody even questions it.
It's going to be so interesting to see what they do with when Pulse comes out with all their USDC copies.
Yeah, it's fractional reserve now. It's already been proven, right? They can print as much as they want. Can you say what Bitcoin price would be? No, because they can print out as much monopoly money as they want. If they want to tomorrow, they can print out 30 billion Tether, right? Take a long position, take that 30 billion Tether, buy Bitcoin, run up that long position, right? At the very top, because they made the top, nobody can no longer afford $1 million Bitcoin. They can put their short position in, and then they can sell all the Bitcoin that they just bought. And guess what? They have just filled their reserve with their monopoly money, and nobody's the wiser, right? This is
the
what
exchange. But the exchange they're trying to do that on probably wouldn't. They'd see that.
Well, what are they going to do? They accept Tether as a payment.
They wouldn't accept it. They wouldn't let them long 30 billion of it.
Why not? They can do what they want. I mean, who's going to stop them? This is the problem with crypto. Crypto is controlled by Tether, by Binance. It's controlled. If you're in the crypto world, you are playing with your cards face up, and they got their cards face down. That's what you got. When you go on an exchange and you play leverage trading, you are playing with your cards face up and their cards face down. They know exactly your moves. They know your positions. They know your shorts because you entered them on your computer, and their system reads that. This isn't, all they have to do is hit a button and say, okay, let's clear those out. And your real money is gone now. You are literally playing a game where they can see your cards, but you can't see theirs. Why does that, No, that's why I say no. We don't need to send people to the crypto space. There are unimaginable horrors in the crypto space that I don't want to expose people to. So I'm not using the word crypto. I'm not using the word market cap. I'm not using the word volume. I'm not telling them about centralized exchanges. I ain't using none of that. I'm going to tell them how to use their staker app. I'm going to tell them how to use Hex. I'm going to tell them how to use Pulse. But that other stuff, I ain't interested. I ain't sending anybody there. Y'all want to send people there? That's fine. But I don't think it helps us.
Staker app is definitely the cleanest way. It's just the easiest thing. Like, everyone understands just getting an app on your phone, and the only like part that might be a little bit difficult is the part where you need to like actually buy, like use your fiat to buy.
Yeah.
They don't have an exchange.
Go on ramps suck.
Yeah, it's just that, like, if you have to use a credit card, sometimes you can't spend very much. Like, you're limited. You can only spend like $1,000, and then you get cut off from spending more than that, which is
You also
which is
get paid for a
bit
touch
cheap.
advance if you use your credit card. So it's an extra 10%.
That's it. So I mean, the other option is to open an exchange account and then send it from the exchange to your Staker app wallet. And then there's the other thing of just having to open up the Staker app wallet, which you would have thought on Pulse, everyone's just going to get free Gnosis Safe Staker app wallets on Pulse. They should just be free, because they shouldn't. I mean,
and I set everyone up with an exchange because they're going to need a way to get back out into Aussie dollars at some point, So, and that's the way you have to do it.
Yeah, right now we have to utilize what's available for off ramps, but I mean that's unavoidable at this point, and I understand that, but that's why I say, look, when I said there's plenty of stuff on here, don't get shiny object syndrome, don't look at these metrics, just don't, you try to warn them the best you can. My brother called me the other day. He's trying to help somebody out that got some kind of hawk coin or something. I've never heard of it in my entire life. And she's got $1 billion worth. I'm like, yeah, she ain't selling that shit. It's like, it's not going to happen. You ain't going to get that sold. It's like, but it's on Uniswap. I said, there is no liquidity. Good luck with that. Why I'm thinking about it, guys, let's change the term of liquidity to available hex. So when we're talking about liquidity, people automatically mentally think rug pull, because they don't understand the positive side of liquidity. So they don't understand like limited availability. They just think liquidity rug pull. So when we're talking about liquidity and we're talking about low liquidity on or availability of hex, let's try to reshape that a little bit, because I know you guys stream a lot more than me, and say available hex, because that is much more of a comfortable term that doesn't make people go wacky when they're, because everything's a rug pull, right? When you talk about liquidity, generally what you're talking about is the fact that there's no coins actually provided for sale. And we know Hex has been proven over time that you can sell. There's plenty of liquidity there to sell into. What there isn't is availability. There's not a lot of availability. There's not a lot of Hex in the case for people to actually purchase. So that's just a different term to throw out there for you guys.
Big thank you to Savaka Umaru for $5. There, we appreciate that. Thank you.
So what have we? What have I missed? Have we talked about? What have you guys talked about? Is there anything you haven't talked about yet? Have we? The God whale breached. We have a Twitter account for the God whale now.
So
it's nice to see.
So the fake account drew out the real account.
Flushed out the real account, and it's great to see. Hey, he's going to be a little bit more public, maybe. Hey.
Well, that's one of the 5. There's actually 5 Genesis whales. So
really?
Yeah. Well, there's C5, and I call that the cat wallet. I think that's Ski Cat C5. And then there's 666.
What do you mean the cat wallet? The Ski
Cat.
Ski Cat.
Oh, I think C5 is Ski Cat. I could be wrong. I don't think, but I think that's the one. 666D is the one that's been active here recently, but there are actually other Genesis wallets that hold I mean, they don't get a lot of credit, but they're out there. So it's kind of funny because like God Whale, is that just one of the Genesis whales? Which whale are we calling the God Whale? Because there are other movers in the space that, you know, are Genesis wallets. And we know they're not Richard because they got a bunch of shit coins in there and a lot of Ethereum and they're Genesis wallets.
Well, how many Genesis wallets were there from Ethereum? Like, it couldn't have been that many.
There's like 5. Yes. There's like 5.
No, but I mean, how many overall from that were in the Genesis block for Ethereum?
I don't know.
Can't be that many, can there? I thought it was mainly just the Debs and stuff.
I don't know. RG says C5 is not SkiCat. Well, if C5 isn't SkiCat, then maybe 6660 is. Who knows?
Wow, Steph just made an interesting comment. Currently applying to be a crypto broker. That's for Europe, is it? Or is that for Australia as well? That'd be amazing. That'd be. You heard it here first.
Well, here's the thing. This is what Richard said. You know, he's got people that are going to try to stop him. But the fact is, why can't he get whatever licenses that these other companies already have? You think he don't have the money to do it? He has the money. He's just got to find the right people to move. Because, I mean, when you think about it, the crypto space is this big. They only have control of the space that's in here. They don't have the space of the real world. Literally, we are going to be the shopping mall on the main highway that just keeps building till finally people are driving by and they go, well, when the hell they put that here? Because we're building. The crypto space is pretty much staying stagnant. All they do is cut and paste each other's code and change the story and change the theme and just move it along down the road. We're actually building things that are new, right? Staker app is new. Steph Firebun built Staker app. Steph Fire built Hex Live and Hex.Vision. And, you know, I mean, we've got all of these things that are being built. Look at all the tools. Who has 40 apps for their crypto? There are like 40 apps. We're not using them all, but there's like 40 apps built for Hex, you know, different calculators, different trading things, different, all different dynamics, right? No other crypto has that. And, you know, we can't even keep up with the amount of websites, you know? So, I mean, we just keep building. We just keep building till they can't drive by the shopping mall anymore. And they look over there and they go, oh my God, let me go check this out. I didn't even know this was here, you know?
Oh, it's totally inevitable. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's been the trajectory, and we're seeing it now, you know. And yeah, you run into a few speed bumps and a few little divots in the road, but it's like, you know, and as Hexicans get richer and richer, they're just going to, you know, pour money into fixing all of this stuff and getting the word out more. It's just, it's all going to plan, I reckon. It's all like fine. Yeah.
So I am pumping gas at Speedway and I hear crypto.com commercials, right? Pumping gas at Speedway and I hear crypto.com commercials because they've got a little screen on their gas pump now. And everybody that's pumping gas has to listen to those commercials. Now, here's the thing. We could take AJ Creates videos to talk about Hex, pay Speedway, pay Marathon, pay Citco to put them on their gas pumps. And you know what? Citco, Marathon, and Speedway don't give a shit what the commercial is. They don't. You know what they care about? Money. If we pay them, they will play our video. And everybody uses gas. These are ways we can do things, you know, but the thing is you have to have effective advertising. You have to have targeted advertising. You can't have a sign that pops up and says, Hex is designed for moon travel. Not that it isn't cool, but because it doesn't give the right message. What do they build? They build rocket ships. They're selling moon boots. They're selling space suits. What is this Hex? Do I need a Hex.com? What's this do for me, right? So you have to do, did you miss out on Bitcoin? Don't miss out on Hex.com. That targets people that missed out on Bitcoin. Okay.
Yeah, and RG3 just said you see, you know, crypto.com on UFC. Like, I can't wait till we have Hex on the UFC. Hey.
Well, Well,
gonna
that's
be
the
epic.
thing, though. You got to target your audience where they are and spend your dollars the best effective way you can. Retargeting works. Retargeting code on the backside of your website that retargets people and that have already visited your website works if you get them to your website to begin with. So, but like the gas pump thing, that's brilliant. The flying a plane in the sky, let me tell you a little something. Nobody looks up. Nobody hardly ever looks up. People drive through life now with blinders on. They're generally looking at their phone when they're driving down the road. I have a physical location. I put a fire-breathing dragon out in my front yard and people still drive by it. Okay? Still don't notice it. This is how closed-minded people's vision is. Now, something like the gas pump is totally subliminal. Totally subliminal. Because as you're pumping your gas and you're sitting out there listening to that shit, you're hearing it in your head. Whether you know you're not, whether you know you are or not, you're listening it. It maybe now that they heard it at the gas pump, they go to the checkout, the website, and then hex.com. And hex.com's got retargeting information on the backside so that now once they have gone to the website, now you can retarget them and say, hey, do you remember us? And when a person sees it enough times, it gets into their psyche. And this is how you win, right? This is how you win. You have to have visibility, accessibility, and availability. Those are the things that matter. Those are the metrics that matter, not market cap and volume. Visibility, accessibility, and availability. Those are measurable metrics.
There's someone in the chat who wants to come on to the stream, but look, I think there is a show that's done every single week. It's called the FN Hangout, and that is where you cut your teeth on live stream on Discourse Syndicate. If you've never been on a stream before, you want to jump on a stream, and you're excited to get on a stream, you go on the FN Hangout with RG3 and the crew, and you can go on there. You don't need to be invited on. You can just the link gets thrown out and jump on there, and that's RG3's baby, that one. And we don't step on his toes. Steph has just said here we're starting with Europe and then expanding into other regions. Takes endless legal meetings and reviews by financial authorities. Hey Steph, if you've got 5 or 10 minutes, you want to jump on and talk to us about it, we're here, mate.
That's awesome, Steph. Though, like, I mean, that's going to be just nitrogen to stake her up into Hex when we finally get that fiat on ramp and off ramp going. Yeah,
I guess it's just 660 and C5 are the same.
I don't even really watch any of that whale shit. I'm just like, whatever. There's too much.
It is.
I throw up on Twitter and I go, oh yeah, that's interesting. You know, that person did that, did they? Right. But to actually go and like be seeing what they're all doing and keep up to date with it all, it's like, no.
RGs, I hate that shit when getting yeah, you know what? You might hate it, RG, but you know what? It's subliminal.
We don't have that in Australia, I don't think.
And it works.
Yeah, that must be annoying. Just advertising even when you're just pumping your fuel, hey?
But you know what? I'm going to send Steph a link.
Even that's the guerrilla tactics, you know, work awesome, I reckon. Like just this little stickers, you know, just all over the place, and you know, and that gives it that.
It works for brand awareness, but it isn't targeted marketing. It works for brand awareness. So if you can get them to somewhere where they can see that logo again and understand what that logo means, you know, and it does work for people that are curious. Why do I keep seeing this thing? And then they finally go look to see what it is. So it works to that effectability, but we need some targeted marketing where we're actually sending a message. If you're going, and this is the thing, if you're going to spend, you know, $1,000 and put up a billboard, you need a message that's going to resonate with people, right? People spent money to run that Bunga Bunga ad, right? People are watching the Bunga Bunga ad pop up on YouTube videos, but you know what would have been better spent would be putting AJ Creates videos out there because those actually explain what it is. And that would have been something that people could see and understand. The Bunga Bunga video was just a joke. So we've got a bunch of pranksters out there. We throw inside jokes out there, and we get a good laugh about it in the community. And that's fun. That's a fun way to spend money. It's a fun thing to do, but it's not getting the message out there. Instead,
you know what? Everyone's gonna try all sorts of different ways. You know what I mean? Like I don't see how those, you know, those paid cameo things, I don't see how they're effective at all. But like, I still want to, like, I don't want to say don't do them to people or discourage people, because I think that we don't know what's necessarily going to work. And I'm just saying, try many different ways to get the word out. Like some stuff is that we don't even foresee working is going to work, you know, and it's going to work on the right person potentially, and then that person is going to all of a sudden be the connector for a whole lot of people. And you know what I mean? It's the virality works in all sorts of different ways that we can't even necessarily calculate or conceptualize.
Well, to a certain extent, yes. You try a bunch of things, and some things build off each other. Like I said, you know, the brand recognition, seeing the logo over and over again. But what's going to get you to where you need to be is the message. When you finally see a message and you're able to put the brand with that message, and it becomes something that you're interested in. If you're marketing to people that have never been in Bitcoin, you would market Hex as a financial product. If you are marketing to people that missed out on Bitcoin, you talk about them missing out on Bitcoin. If you are, the point being is, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with what people have done. What I'm saying is there's more effective ways of spending those dollars that you're already spending to create, get a better conversion, right? We're about conversions. We want our advertisement to result in someone taking a certain action. In order to do that, you need to do it in such a way that the other things that have already been put out there support that. So when they see that logo, they're like, oh yeah, I have a message to connect that logo with. So they keep seeing the logo pop up. That's great. Stickers are awesome. If everywhere you go and you see the Hex logo, and then all of a sudden you have seen an ad and you go, oh, I've seen that before, but the ad appeals to me now. Now let me go click on it. But very seldom are people going to click something random. They'll just dismiss it, right? If your brain doesn't recognize what something is, it tends to just dismiss it. You know, if there's a message, there has to be a message for your brain to finally start clicking.
Well, you need an emotional connection. So the best way is to actually tell someone and explain it. And that'll be the most effective way to get the message across. Absolutely. Yeah.
And then if they go to the gas pump, guess what? They see the logo at the gas pump. They're like, I bet that's
you need that 3 times at least. Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm going to get blamed for all the Hex stickers in town that Crypto Sparbuck probably stuck to things. I'm totally going to get blamed for that.
I did that. So did you get interviewed by the Doco team?
Yeah. So I'm on 3. I'm in Crypto Sparbucks. We did their journey, and I interviewed for that. Then I did Mr. Scamdemic Tom Gillespie's thing that he's got going on there. So I talked to him, and then Highest of Stakes documentary. I went on there with them today. Well, not today, yesterday technically. Yes.
And how did that? Hey, Steph, how's it going?
That was a lot of fun. Gave a lot of footage. So probably use 5 minutes of it.
Can you hear me well?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. How's it going?
Excellent.
That's good, mate.
Steph's
how are you?
Yell at me because I'm going to do this. Steph, I still don't have my scanner.
I know. Yeah,
but you know what? I can use the barcode scanner separately, and I still do the same thing. So I've learned how to adapt around that. I still think it'd be a little easier if it was in app, but I'll let it go.
No, I understand.
Love everything you've done.
We have it's the thing that happens when you try to be of service to others, right? People become demanding, and then you have ever a never-ending list of things that you need to do for people, right? So nomics screw us up with the market cap. Hey, staker up, just do it, right? So we don't have fiat on ramp. Staker, just do it. So so my
I'm
comments
guilty
like
of that as well, man. I'm guilty of that.
So-
I've definitely asked for you to do things that above and beyond.
But Steph,
Yeah.
we go way back, man. We go way back.
I know, but I just have to end. So I wish I could do more. So actually, that's a good point, right? So I think we are a very large community now, and a lot of people made a lot of money with regard to X. At least maybe some that may have cashed out along the way. So the question that anyone can ask yourself is, if you have a bit of money, if you have a bit of power, and you acquired power, what can you do to give back? What can you do to contribute to push things forward, right? I find it kind of amazing that we are now almost at 2 years of existence for X, and maybe creating a fiat on ramp should not be the responsibility of myself and Fireman, right? So maybe someone could have taken that battle, and the more people try across regions to do different things. I know you did that, Fabio, with the the legal action against Binance, and there's a lot of people trying to do different things, but yeah, I think all of us, we can just look into what we accomplished and how much time we spent on social media or on stream versus trying to be productive for the rest of the community. And so yeah, that was my little kind of like a rant off the cuff, but we're working on it right now because we are a French registered company. We have to start putting together all the paperwork and the guidance. It's related to KYC, right? All jurisdictions, they don't want you to contribute to tax evasion, and the financing of terrorism. So this is like a three things that for them to do that, because they don't. So the government could decide to build kind of an arm of police dedicated to chase down this kind of behaviors, but they don't do it, and they just rely on the private sector, so companies, banks, or crypto exchange to do the policing, right? So that's the way things are right now. So if you want to accept some fiat for some crypto, you need to put in place all of these rules related to KYC and submit some sort of application. Luckily, in Europe, we're integrated into, like in France, we're in Europe, also integrated in the larger region. So we should be able to cover that as a first pass, and then we'll expand to all the paperwork. And the fact that you get the license for one big regions, it's easier than to communicate with the, the FinCEN, the SEC, or the FCA in the UK, or the similar organization, let's say in Australia, for expanding basically your reach, right? You already 90% of the work, and there's a couple of like adjustments you need to do at the margin for complying with the local regulation.
Steph, is that because the GDPR is such a high standard in Europe that you need to comply with? Or are you thinking in like, are you going to be located in? Is it going to be located in France? Like, is that, or are you going to have it somewhere else in another jurisdiction?
No, it's like the first version that we might roll out for the fiat to on-ramp might just be servicing European customers, right? So if you're not a EU citizen, you might not be able to use kind of like the staker in-house fiat to on-ramp and use kind of the other solution that has regulation for servicing other countries. So we'll start with that, and we'll expand coverage, as we get these kind of meetings and regulation and lawyers and approvals over time. But you need to start somewhere, right? There's no kind of a global entity or regulation where you can say, well, that's it, I can deliver financial services across 200 countries. That doesn't exist, right? You need to go after each regions or regulation, and you go obviously after the largest one. So US is one of the largest kind of like a user base. I think about 40% of our users are coming from the US. So as soon as we've done with Europe, we are going after UK and the US.
I think I'm going to start selling like pogs. You know what they are? Like little paper things, right? I'm going to sell a pog, and the pog comes with X amount of free hex. And you're buying the pog, but you're not buying the hex. But if you buy the pog, you get the free hex. You see what happens there? Now all of a sudden, I'm not a money transmitter. I'm just selling you a pog. It just happens to come with free hex. How about that?
So how do you go?
If you have a better solution, and you're willing to implement it, just go for it. But we've done some research, so I'm not going to jail.
How did you go about it, Steph? Do you find lawyers or financial people who, and then you just hire them basically, and
So the process, if someone actually wants to tackle it, because it doesn't have to just rely on us. The more people are just trying different solutions out there, the more likely we're going to be able to have global coverage for getting to fiat to crypto, right? So if you guys in Australia, you just the process is just the way we do it right now. We have the best crypto lawyers in France. So the crypto scene is really, really vibrant in France and in Paris. You have the Ledger team is based out of Paris. The Sorare team, it's kind of NFT soccer fantasy program based out of Paris as well. So we have a good infrastructure there, supported by the government as well. But you go to a team of lawyers, and then they're specialized into setting up crypto exchanges or banking services. Right, there's a lot of new fintech product and new banks that are emerging across regions. You go to them, they know the regulation with regard to the financial authorities in your country, and they help you go through the process. Say, hey, these are the few steps. You need to apply this way. This is the cost. This is the timeline. This is the set of things that you need to put in place to help with getting information from users, making sure the privacy is safe across the board, because you don't want to collect passport and identification from users and then having a loose security infrastructure. So they're looking at a broad range of things that you need to go through, and then they give you a stamp, and officially you're able to accept some fiat and deliver if you have enough liquidity in crypto in exchange.
That's going to be amazing for Staker, I think. If you guys get that done, that's really going to make a massive difference for onboarding when people just have the app and they can just. It's going to make a huge difference, I think. That's
the largest bottleneck for us. And if you look at PulseChain even, right, once we have the capability, we decide where we're sourcing some liquidity for our users, right? So you don't even need to think about, or maybe you need to go from the Ethereum chain and use a bridge and move value over. You can imagine you can go from fiat to assets on the PulseChain directly. But we will be able to make that bridge for our users. Yeah.
And so, Steph, I know you were looking into trying to go to existing people who had those kind of licenses, like the Ramp network. And is this a case where it didn't work out with those kinds of players, and so you decided to take it on yourselves?
Yeah. So we are obviously. Because we're just a few people at the beginning, myself and Firebird. Now we expanded the team a bit, but we had to see how you go to market, right? And you make compromise about what you focus on. You focus on. So we focus on the UI, the interface, the ability to stake from mobile. But we knew that along the way, there's still that friction point when you're on board of fiat to crypto. And we said, well, let's try to leverage people that already done the homework of going through the legalese, and because it takes months. So let's try to use this partner to leverage and just go to market this way. And then the first strategy that we went through is as we grow and we prove that we are a serious business, even if X had maybe suffers reputation in the space, we'll make the case that, hey, we have a growing user base and we are just sending you traffic, and so you're making money thanks to us. What does it take for you guys to list Hex directly, right? So we're constantly engaging with different partners and saying, hey, after which threshold, what do you need from us to be able to source some Hex directly? And so we've been going back and forth. It takes time because you need some convincing. The reputation is really very entrenched. But as the months passes, we feel that there's less and less resistance, and maybe some of our partners may be willing just to change their views on X. So that's great news. Nothing concrete there, but what we started doing this summer, I say, well, we cannot wait for third parties to wait on third parties just to make that a reality. We don't know if it's going to happen in 6 months or 1 year. So let's try to do it in-house. And we put it a bit more pressure on our partners. Like, well, you guys are forcing us to compete, with you. So people understand that, and this is this some kind of regular market dynamics, and that makes the lines moving maybe in interesting fashion in favor of Mexicans longer term. So yeah, we are kind of the Trojan horse in the internet community. We're trying to push the boundaries. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you think it'd be just a no-brainer for these people who have all of this stuff already set up, just to like be that, hey?
No. Actually, from a business standpoint, I kind of understand them, right? Imagine you're on exchange like Ramp or Transact or Wires. Like most of your business is, Bitcoin and Ethereum is like maybe 80-90% of your business. So at the margin, the extent is so small that for them it's like, hey, it's more interesting financially to list Dodge, right? They're just going where the largest money is, right? And so the more the Mexican community grows over time, the more it makes a sense business-wise. So they're looking at just like a pure business situation. There's also the fact that Hex has this kind of nasty reputation, and it's really just you need to clean that up, right? It takes time, right? Reputation and trust is hard to gain, especially when you have a stigma attached to you. And I'm not the kind of guy that says like all publicity or marketing is good marketing. I would never accept someone to say, hey, Staker App is a scam. I know Richard has a different stance, but I'm from the belief that Hex would be even a better project today if it was not controversial. So it's a better opportunity for the people that knows the product because they can acquire more of Hex early on. But I think it's a detriment to the spread of the product, right? If you have a stain on you, it's always a bit harder to sell yourself. That's as simple as that.
Do you think the Pulse will be easier to sell in that sense? It seems like people are a lot more accepting of it.
So the funny thing is like because of the price of X since the beginning of the year went from 1 cent to 50 cents, right? At early September, and so most of the rally, I think, has been you could attribute it to actually the announcement of PulseChain, right? It's starting just having more visibility to do. So Richard actually did something. I don't know if it was on purpose or not, but by creating this new project, he made actually Hex more visible to people that did not heard about it, right? So that's kind of a good gateway for. If you look at some of the price movement, it's really correlated to the announcement around April time when he said like, hey, he's actually forking Ethereum. What we've seen on Hex and Pulse, like media-wise, from the crypto community, specifically some of the influencers, nobody's talking negatively about Hex these days, publicly. I don't see any kind of videos, articles on someone just going after Hex. Some people might respond to it and say, oh, I don't know enough, or I'm on the fence, or I don't want to give any judgments. People are covering their asses, but we don't see kind of the backlash that we've seen when Hex was just launching. Just because of one very single fact is that Hex did 10,000x. It did what it said it would do, and so nobody can argue with the fact data and the engagement of the community. Everybody is starting to be visible, like for people that were on the fence and say, hey, something is happening there. I was wrong, and I can no longer trash something that's working. So it becomes even harder to come after Pulse, and you don't see any negative, actually. I haven't seen anyone coming after Pulse and saying, this is a bad idea. But still, it's not mentioned. You don't see all of the main influencers that would be promoting, let's say, Solana ahead of time or Avalanche. You don't see one of these large influencers talking about Pulse. Why? I'm not sure. If having a copy of the system state of Ethereum is a genius idea, something that never been done before, to acquire a lot of it's a huge marketing plan because anyone that has addresses and tokens on one chain, you can auto onboard them without doing any effort. And nobody's talking about.
They'd be fighting themselves, resisting it.
I see that it's a huge change in terms of public sentiment towards the project of Richard Hart. Now nobody's talking negative against them, but I'm still surprised why nobody's actually talking about it.
Yeah.
Well, I was listening to no
what I'm saying is like the larger influencers, like 100K plus maybe subscribers on YouTube. This guy on guys, nobody's talking about PulseChain, right? So
I was listening to Eric. I was listening to Twitter today, and Eric Wall was answering a question about DeFi and all this stuff. And I know some people don't like Eric Wall, whatever. I don't care. He's to me, he's a smart guy, so sometimes I listen to him. He was talking about it, and they were talking about like all the EVM chains and how we think scalability is going to go and all of that. But I didn't hear them talking about Pulse at all in that discussion, which that surprised me, because I think of what's on the horizon in the next few months.
Yes, they know. I mean, they know
thing.
if you're Eric Wall, if you're a Bitboy Crypto, if you're FN Tech, you follow. So I checked some of these products. They all follow Richard. So they fucking know. Richard is like retweeting nonstop, like, hey, PulseChain is coming. That was a sacrifice phase. That's where we're going. Testnet is live. They know it's coming. So they may have acquired the token just in case, right? Just to be financially set. But I don't understand why they're not even making a review, mentioning it, criticizing it. Could be negative, positive, could be neutral. I'm still surprised why it's like, hey, let's just not talk about it. It's really, really awkward.
It's weird. It is weird.
Because they all know about it.
It's the elephant in the room. Like, and all of their users are going to be getting all of these free tokens on it. It's just...
I'm sure at some point, you have 50K folks in the Telegram group for Pulse. You're going to see more and more pressure from their user base saying, hey, what about Pulse? What about Pulse? And, the more messages like that come through your, DMs and messages, at some point, someone will have to talk about it, because if it's there and you're no longer relevant, if a project becomes very successful and you never talk about it, it's like, how can you claim to be sort of a authority or expert in the space?
I saw the birth of Avalanche. Like, I was one of the first validators for Avalanche. They had this program where they onboarded 1,000 validators, and so I saw that from the absolute get-go. And I didn't see anybody talking about that one for a very long time, until it kind of went up enough in price and market cap, and then they started talking about it. So maybe it'll just be a case of when PulseChain, once PulseChain is released, and once it gets to a certain level of market cap, that's when they'll start talking about it. I don't know. Maybe
the sacrifice phase for Pulse was like historic. Billions of dollars of value invested into the project.
Yeah, but you never hear about it.
A huge raise. Yeah, but I don't think for Avalanche there was billions of dollars of value just invested in, the whatever launch, the terminology you want to use for the launch or token distribution mechanism. Same thing, donation of more than 20 million for the Sense Foundation. You can't, and actually, I'm actually wrong. You had, I think, a public tweet from Ivan Tech saying that he sacrificed and donated for the Sense Foundation during the sacrifice phase. He had a tweet. But is it something that is then doing an interview or talking about or integrating with kind of is focusing a lot on the infrastructure of tech and blockchain interaction in his moralist solution, right? He's building some sort of infrastructure there. I find it very surprising that something is now in testnet, and none of the major, I think, crypto players could be on the infrastructure space, in the influencing space, or mentioning it. I cannot wrap my head around it, and because they all know, my only assumption is like they may have loaded their bag just in case. And at some point, the gate will open. If imagine, I don't know, next week people saying, "Hey, have you heard about PulseChain?" He has 1 million followers. So all the other influencers, like that we know of, some of them we despise. There will be question about it. So.
Hey, I actually think that what Pulse is going to do, it's going to demonstrate to the crypto community that even if these guys who are the influencers aren't on board with it from the beginning, that the crypto community are just going to. I think it's going to demonstrate that you don't need them to onboard all these people, because people just love free stuff. They just love having an airdrop, and everyone who's got an ERC20 is going to get an airdrop. So they're going to come across whether those influencers like it or not, and they're going to ask the question, why wasn't this influencer I was following? They're going to ask themselves, why didn't these guys tell me about it? Like, why?
I'm not even sure. Because I was thinking about it, it's like, okay, what is the incentive? Like, if you're being very rational and look at themselves, like, okay, this is maybe in my interest. If I think that Richard out is like, can I make a killing project as well? The idea of copying the system state is sound. It will kind of auto onboard a lot of people. I know about it because I'm following Richard hard. I may have invested into it. What is my incentive not to talk about it? Like because
the only thing
you could say, well, to your point, you say, well, maybe my reputation is gonna go down because some of my viewers are gonna say, hey, why you didn't tell me about it? But I think these guys, they don't really care. It's like they're gonna like frame it as, oh, I just learned about these new things.
Yeah,
that's
true. That's true.
It hasn't launched yet. They're gonna say it hasn't launched yet. It's a new opportunity. They're gonna frame it in a way like it's favorable for them.
Do you think that maybe that's their way of like they're not telling anyone so that they can like maybe accumulate or do a bit more themselves, and then once they're in and they're satisfied with their position, then they pump it so that they can do even better? I don't know.
I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. I mean, it's one of the most like in the crypto space right now. There's a couple of interesting things related to layer 2 technologies and scalability issues, and this one is a kind of a new way to scale, like just by copying the system state. I don't understand why not more people are discussing. It's not.
I'm interested, Steph. What are your thoughts on the scalability? I mean, one of the things Eric was saying today when I was listening was that you can't like you're always going to have blocks that fill up eventually in these chains. Like no matter what, you're always going to have eventually. That's the same thing's going to happen. So, what do you think the solution is? Do you think that it's just going to be like they're just bridging across to different networks, and that is the scaling solution? Or
yeah. I mean, there's no way around that, right? If you want enough decentralization, you need to have at least with the states of what we know about technology these days. Blockchain is just fixing something with a different kind of consensus to make sure that everyone can write to a ledger, assuming that they pay a bit for writing to the ledger, the gas fees. But if you want a minimum security, make sure that you're not being censored or the network is not falling down, it comes down to kind of the cost of having a price on the block, and at some point, at the global level, we're at 8 billion, we're going to 10 billions with more people coming online, more of our lives will become digitized. So you can only see an explosion in the need for block space. So the only thing reasonable that comes to mind is that it's going to be a world where you have just multiple ledgers. You have thousands,
Ethereum,
maybe millions of ledgers, and the key challenge is like, obviously, how do you exchange value between them in fairly trusted manner? But I think it's the world we're moving towards, multi-chain, multi-ledger world.
Yeah, it makes sense. And
if they are working, sorry, go on, mate.
No, it just makes sense. And if when it works, when PulseChain forks, that will kind of set the model for future chains. Because if you can like all of a sudden onboard a whole ton of more people with just 33 validators, that's kind of the way to go, isn't it? And so like years in like down the track, I mean, do you think that eventually PulseChain will be forked once that gets full in order to alleviate so that other people can be onboarded?
That's a good question. I had made a prediction in February, March 2020 that there would be a lot of copycat of Hex, but a lot more. And like, if it's a genius idea, if it's so good, you should see more people actually replicating it, trying to fork the code. We've seen a couple of folks that tried changing a couple of parameters. I think it's good. You just try it in the space of ideas. You try to different things to see if actually yield more values for the wider community. For Pulse, I don't know. The question is like, your question is like, hey, does that give the idea to others to say, hey, I'm also making a copy, a system state copy of Ethereum, or even PulseChain itself. So you could have like a fork of a fork of a fork, including the system states. What it creates seemingly is like you're creating some sort of inflation of all of the tokens, right? Logistically, it becomes.
But it'll come down to social consensus. Like if somebody who's just an unknown person finds a way to spin up a fork, and then no one goes over and uses that fork, then it won't have value. So it'll depend really on.
You need to build a community that is supportive, just to bootstrap the ecosystem for sure. But at some point, you could imagine someone with some sort of prominence in the Ethereum community say, well, actually, you know, it's been a couple of years. We're day in out trying to do this kind of like merge and sharding, and you know, why are we not just doing what we're just?
Yeah, that's exactly.
You know, it's like when you know you're a group of humans in Ethereum. You know, the core group of Ethereum developers want to say, hey, that's actually a freaking smart idea. Why we didn't think about it? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Doing it. Well, let's do it.
Well, I think we'll get a lot of
imagine that happens. You actually question the value of Pulse, right? Because if that idea is you know is feasible, others people with technical skills can also try to do it. So when people are talking about prices and what we'll do, they fail to realize that you know ideas are just freely circulating, and you know you have a lot of talents in all different ranges and spaces, and you know what Pulse is doing could be replicated, and you know this is what technology and markets are. You know, you ever ending replacements of ideas and improvement and increment. So I always try to be conservative before you know talking about like prices or speculating around it, because the truth is like the world is quite chaotic, and you never know if someone is taking similar ideas, improving upon it, releasing before you. That's still possible.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I wanted to ask you about just upcoming. Can you give us any teasers about upcoming updates for StakeRap?
So right now, our primary priority is just to make sure that we have some level of support for the PulseChain. So we're actively working on it. We kind of delayed a bit our plan for the V2 just because, this is the most pressing thing. We don't want to be in a situation where, you know, all of our users. I think we have a bit more than 15,000 activated wallets, a bit more than 70,000 monthly active users. A very large amount of Mexicans are using stakers. We have probably like the second largest distribution channel after Richard. And with that comes responsibility of like serving our users. And yeah, we know that you know we'll be in a tricky situation if we cannot deliver you know access to Pulse and copy of your hex and your tokens once the new chain comes live. So we're actively working on that.
Do you find Gnosis Safe is Gnosis Safe? Have you spoken to them about? Are they going to be supporting it on the other chain on Pulse?
Well, you know, all smart contract will be by default supported there. So if you already have a wallet, Gnosis Safe, well, you'll just get a copy of it on the other chain with all the tokens that comes with it, right?
But will are they going to do a front? Do you know if they're going to do a front end?
Well, so we discussed with them, and they are looking into it. But their code is also open source, so we could just go ahead and just fork that front end and make it available.
On their site, they do have a drop down for different protocols, different chains. So yes. I mean, they could just add Pulse in there. I can't imagine that would be that difficult for them.
Yeah. I mean, we've been chatting with them, and they're like investigating. They just learn about it, right? Something, you know, like these guys are really deep into the Ethereum community, and they're just trying to support as many kind of new layer 2s and sidechain that comes to play. And when we had the first conversations, they didn't know about PulseChain, so they were learning about it, and they're considering just to add it. If not, I think because all of their code, whether smart contract or frontend or open source, it's fairly easy for us just to fork their frontend and just point it to us. So there's no specific like worry on that front. Yeah.
And I'm not sure if you saw RG3 the other day. He called you out. Did you hear what he said the other day, Steph? Did you hear what he was saying?
Where are you at, Steph? Where are you at? Get on it.
he wants to see market cap in StakerApp, man. He wants to see market cap in StakerApp. So there's another one to add to the list of demands from us ungrateful people in there.
Yeah, you guys were actually. I was listening in the background earlier, and you guys were going back and forth and saying, okay, you know, what is the metrics in Hex? You have this kind of metrics, but arguably in other smart contract, let's say compound Avid or lending borrowing contract, you have different kind of metrics, right? The collateralization rates, TVL, type of things that may differ a little bit. So it's really hard just to get a unified value, and I think that's the reason why market cap is emerging. It's like It's almost like we took that away maybe from traditional market, and we kind of try to replicate a way to give some sort of prominence between different kind of assets and projects. It might not be perfect, but it might be the best of the options that we have these days.
Yeah.
One thing that could be done is, because the definition is price multiplied by circulating supply, is having a more defined, being a bit more prescriptive about what we mean by circulating supply, right? If the tokens haven't moved for years, you could imagine that you would be weighting them down because they are less circulating, that some tokens that have been some sort of liquidity that have been moved more recently. So I was discussing with Claire from Nomics about, hey, maybe there's a better way, just weighting the time of idle time of tokens within your protocol. So what we were discussing internally with the team, the Staker team, is how to build. We have a lot of data, so we could be coming up with some sort of listing site if we wanted to, where we just try to improve upon the way you define these different terms. You're transparent about them. Front and center, you display the rationale or the philosophy why you're listing the token this way. So if you look at just make like Nomics and all of them, they give you a listing, but they don't give you the rationale why market cap is the best. Right? You could say, well, just market is what the market is demanding. No, maybe not. It's what the market is used to.
That's it. It's just what the legacy system has always done.
Yeah. So things can change. It might take time. It's just about culture and changing the way people think about it. But as long as you're transparent about your methodology and the philosophy why you think it's a better listing. So we are thinking about these things quite thoroughly, and I think we can do better, because the current status quo is obviously is not the best, especially for us.
Hey Steph, can I ask you another question? I'm just curious, like how you're looking at the expansion of your team. Like, you started off just with 2 people. Now you've got another 3 or 4 people, I think, on your team, and like, you're talking about all of these different things from all of these different areas, and it's just like I can see this thing just blossoming, like exploding out, and like I'm wondering what your thoughts are in terms of scaling your company, and if you've thought about that.
Yes. I mean, that's my main role as CEO, is making sure that we have a solid vision that people that are working with us are passionate about, that we're growing the team and everybody's is happy with that, and that we have money in the bank, so to hire and acquire more talents in the space. The most important thing for us, I think, in the short term, I think we're planning to grow to past maybe 10 people in the next couple of months, is focusing on technical talents, so a couple of engineers, product manager, designer, and then we'll see, with regard to other like support function like marketing or legal. Right now we're kind of outsourcing this type of things, but focusing on product, right? Maybe it's my bias working. I've been working for Google for so long, is like focusing on the product, focusing on the users, the experience, and then the rest tends to follow. If you create a great product, it's easier just to discuss and try to extract some sort of value from your users if you're adding a lot of value back to them. So that's the way we're looking at it. And the key challenge for us is really, finding the right talents. Again, I got biased just because of my time at Google, just to be working with some of the brightest in the planet. Serving hundreds of millions or billions of users for some products, and so it's just easier when you work with very, very talented people.
One thing I've seen Staker sorry mate, I was just going to say one thing I've seen that Staker has done that I've seen many other companies do in the last like 5-10 years, which has been a very successful strategy, is that you offer something of great value, which you did early on with Hex.live. You offer something of great value to a community for free. It's absolutely free. And then because you do that, you win their trust. You win that community's trust, and they trust your platform. And that's what I think you've achieved. And that's a credit to you, Steph, for being able to give that to the community for free, and then on top of that, you're now offering, then you started offering these other things like having the wallet and the ability to swap and sell the tokens and all that sort of stuff. So good on you, mate. It's good.
Yeah, it was not calculated. X.Live was first created for myself. I wanted to have a better view onto my own personal investment at the time. I just threw it out there. I was like, hey, why should I keep it for myself? Maybe other people might be interested in seeing all the different data, make it funny. And then it blew up past my expectation. I made a few millions of hex in referrals at the time. So it worked out pretty well. Just starting this kind of like a free site, right? So in a sense that it was very profitable venture, but it was not calculated at the time that it would be something that I would do to gain trust and then jump onto a kind of new project. It came from the realization that Hex is a great financial product and more people should be exposed to it. Because I know how designing product for millions work. You need to reduce a lot of friction. And my personal experience, obviously I'm a technologist, so it was easy for me just to have like an exchange and create like a MetaMask account, go onto these different websites, exchange on Uniswap. But for most people in the world, they just want click on two buttons, a bit like we had Fabio explaining earlier. They just want download an app, click on two buttons, have connection with Google Pay or Apple Pay, and off they go. So I knew that someone had to do it and say, why not me? I know how to do it, so let's do it.
Worked out pretty well, man. Worked out pretty well.
We're just at the beginning. We had a vision. We're going there. We're halfway through, I think. We did a couple of things interesting. PulseChain is going to be exciting to see before reducing the fees or part of the friction issue that I was mentioning. But yeah, the last big barrier is the shut to crypto on-ramp. We just discussed that at the beginning.
Yeah, that's gonna be a game changer. Absolutely,
guys. It was great just sharing a few words with you guys, sharing my perspective. Wish you a great weekend. I need to go. So
thank you very much, Steph, for coming on. We really appreciate your explanations, mate.
Welcome.
Take it easy, mate. All the best.
Wow, that was special, hey?
That was awesome. How good was that? Wasn't expecting that. We had a bit of an issue at the start with you guys, you and T-Bird, having your internet connection, but then we had Johnny Chaos come on. It was fantastic to have Johnny on. I've been on like a couple of streams with Johnny over the last like year or so, but it was nice just to have him come on this stream with us and to have Steph come on as well. That was awesome.
That was a great surprise. Yeah, that's real special. It's hard to get Steph, and like so you grab it when you can, and you appreciate it when you can when you do get that opportunity. Hey.
Yeah. Like when I saw him in the chat, I'm like, oh, I might just throw this out there. Like I'll ask and see if he's available. I'm glad he came on and spoke to us. So there's big things on the horizon for Staker.
It just sounds like they're just gonna doing all sorts of stuff, and I've got all sorts of plans. Hey, like, and they're already growing fast. That's just like,
and it's.
I imagine
Staker is the easiest thing.
Yeah.
Like look, there's many ways that you can onboard into Hex, but Staker is by far the easiest. Like, because most people just want to be able to just have it on their phone. And they just want to
send their bank money somewhere and get the thing, and have it there on their, or even when they do Staker app on the web version, you know what I mean, as well. Like either or, phone or the web version, but like it's all.
Most of my friends who have gotten the Staker app, they've got the exchange account, and then they just send the crypto to their Staker wallet. So I mean, once you've sorted out the whole exchange thing and you're just sending crypto to the wallet, then it's very straightforward, and the interface is it really is a beautiful interface, isn't it? It's and let's be honest, there is not a day I don't use Staker app. There is not a day. that I do not use that app every single day.
Yeah,
know?
me too. Absolutely. Yeah.
And I would postulate
And I'd pay
that
for a
most
subscription. I'd
hexagons.
pay a subscription. I'd definitely pay a subscription if it had extra features like extra stats and stuff like that. Like was what I think they were planning eventually. Like, yeah, it's a
Okay.
hugely valuable app. Yeah. And I
Like
think
get
that
special reports or something, like get special
just extra stats. Like there's tons of
about
stats
the rest of what's going on in the
Yeah.
like okay.
Yeah.
Like insights about what's going on.
Mm.
Well, I mean, between they could they'd be using
I mean, the sky's the limit.
Vision has all the data, hasn't it?
Yeah, and there's just exactly, and there's just so much you could do with that, and I know that they've been thinking about that kind of things. You know what I mean? And it'll happen in the future for sure. I think it's a guess.
Yep. Yeah, man. Was there? What did you have a couple of things you wanted to talk about? Like you wanted to? Did we cover them? Have we covered like everything? Because when you mentioned something in the message before we went on earlier today.
Well, it was earlier today, hey. They just said there's a lot to talk about. Well, there was the God whale kind of breaching, and that's just the big kind of reaction everyone had to the whole nomics thing. I was actually a little bit surprised at how angry people got. And I kind of understand it now, like because they feel like they brought Clay into the community, and they feel like he backflipped on them or whatever. And it's funny because like I always see it like I see it that he's. I mean, the way I see it, I assume he has really good intentions, and that he's only trying to do his best job. You know what I mean? But I could be wrong with that as well. Like I thought Nugget he had good intentions. You know what I mean? Like for a year.
I think he
I
did
was
for
like,
his own wallet, mate. He had great
yeah,
intentions for his own
exactly.
wallet.
And I'm not saying like Clay is a nugget or anything like that, but like I'm definitely not the best judge of character sometimes. Like I didn't see that Nugget was a degenerate gambler in the background. But I just kind of assumed that. But I just assumed that Clay was like genuinely kind of wanting to give the best representation of what was happening. But then, by the same token, you look at like all of the 24-hour volumes of every single crypto is just so wildly excessive.
They're all manipulated. Yeah,
they're obviously manipulated. It can't be anything else, you know. And whether that's bad data in from nomics, or is it? And if that's the case, I mean, the thing that I like about it, all of it, is that Hex is like acupuncture or like acupressure. Like Hex is, because it's such a truth engine, it's showing all of these other things that we didn't realize. Like market cap, for instance, is a really interesting one. Like how we look at market cap is that it's the value of the network. And that's why we rank them, because we think this network has this much value, this network has this much value. But when you start digging into it, you realize that, well, first of all, you can't compare all of these metrics, because what the fuck is circulating supply? Like we were discussing with Steph, and like maybe you need like, well, if a coin hasn't moved for 5 years and then another one hasn't moved for 10 years, is it more of a less of a market cap or whatever? You know what I mean? Like, so there's all of that. Then there's the difference between proof of stake and proof of work, because like in Hex, the value of the network is the locked coins. That's the huge. That's really is the value of the network.
We were saying that like 17 billion locked.
Exactly.
Now, if you think about it, 17 billion locked is worth more than whatever more unlocked, because those people have committed.
But every time people stake, that's taking it off the market cap. Like beforehand, now he's changed it back or whatever. But then also, you know what I mean? Today I was looking at Coin Paprika, Coin Market Cap, and Nomics. and I just pulled them up all in a row, and I just looked at what the numbers were for each of the different things, and it's just all over the shop. Like, I mean, once
There's
you get
also
past
one
Bitcoin and
called,
Ethereum,
there's one
pretty much
called,
have the same numbers. Like everything else is just like it's all different numbers. Like, what on earth are these people? Where are people getting all these metrics from? Like, you really can't.
they're just coming up with whatever. They're just doing
You just
whatever.
can't
Mate.
trust. Yeah, I mean, you have to like dig into it so much to understand it. You know what I mean? And in the end, it doesn't. That whole market cap thing doesn't matter at all. It's really just like it should be like, what's the 7-day price increase? What's the 30-day price increase? What's the 3-month price increase? What's the year price increase? What's the life of the coin price increase? That's how we should be, and in percentages. That's how we should be measuring these cryptos. Who has the biggest increase since their, I don't know, since they started, or in the last year, or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
because that's not all that matters, really. Its prices really is all that matters. Like, it's what you can buy it at and what you can sell it at. Like, and the other kind of stuff is just the narratives around them. Hey,
I think like market cap is just some legacy thing that we've had in the old system, and we're just using it.
From stocks, we had it from the stock days. You know what I mean? And it's like, but even with the stock market, like how do you even know how many stocks they're really like printing? Like,
yeah,
like they could be selling this shit like all over the place, and there's no central authority which is like making it all of the stocks that's all there are.
I don't know enough about it, to be honest with you.
Me neither. I'm just me neither.
Look, maybe there is. You know what? It is quite regulated, so maybe there is some sort of central authority that makes.
That makes me even more suspect. Those people are paying off this person and that person, and
yeah. Oh man, so like, totally like moving on to a different topic right now. Hexagons are moving around the world like no other group of people.
Flying all over the place, except the Aussies. Except the Aussies are like,
going nowhere right now.
I'm getting around a bit in Queensland. I'm driving all over the place, but like, yeah.
But they're leaving their country. They're like, but everyone's like planning and you know, oh, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go there. Isn't that an interesting thing that like I don't think anyone would have predicted that like a couple of years ago. Like if you would have said to someone a couple of years ago, okay, imagine that Hex does really, really well, you know, what do you think is going to happen in a couple of years? I would have said, oh, people are going to be buying nice cars. They're going to be buying like nice houses. You know, they're going to be, you know, doing X, Y, Z. They're going to be doing all this stuff. But if you told me that people would be planning to exit their location and go elsewhere, that was like the thing. People are getting advice on you know, which is the best strategy for that. Like I wouldn't have thought that that's what was going on, but it seems to be going on.
Total sense to me. Everyone's realizing how many taxes they're going to have to pay, and they're trying to make plans for it now.
I know, like from the Australian perspective, I know that a lot of Australians are thinking this way, but it's not even related to tax. It's more related just to, you know, just being locked down so hard for so long. You know,
hey, 100,000 people in Melbourne today are protesting.
Yeah.
Did you see the pictures of it? The video?
Did you put a video? Hang on.
Yeah,
did you put a video
Twitter
in somewhere?
Yeah, I chucked it up on.
Was that on Twitter?
I chucked one up on. Yeah, on Twitter. Yeah. Yeah, massive.
You didn't put it in the Hex Late Show, did you?
And next weekend there's another one as well, and I think it's going to be even bigger.
They have to listen, though. I mean, they have to listen to the people. I mean, if they don't listen to the people, we got real problems. If they don't look at that and say, "Hey, we better take our foot off the pedal."
Apparently, what they did today was actually illegal, or not illegal, but against like you can only have a gathering of 30 people, and there was 100,000 people there. and the cops didn't arrest anybody, and they were just
That's
they
what they
just
should have
stood
done
back.
all along. That's what they should have done all along.
Of
All along, they
yeah,
should have done that.
of course, of
You know?
course. So that's a nice sign, you know. I mean, it's still going to take like mass non-compliance to all of these directives. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. Because as I was saying earlier on in the stream, I went and met up with middle class working man on when was it? Was it Thursday? And we went and we couldn't actually go into a restaurant and have a meal because of the requirements for documentation, which I'm I'm not willing to. I don't like it. I don't want to.
Oh, it's
I don't
atrocious.
like I don't like the idea of having to comply with that. Just because I think that it's a thin edge of the wedge. And once that's in place, well, why don't they need to know like everything we do? Like, they're going to microchip us. Do you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah,
going to get to that point.
I saw a little video of someone like getting up out of their bed, and they have to do the app thing as they get out of bed, and then they go to the microwave, and they have to do the app thing as they go and put their cup of tea in the microwave, and then they got their slippers, and before they put their slippers on, they got to take the QR code to put their slippers on. And it's just like this normal stuff. Just
Dude,
like
there'll be a QR code. There'll be a QR code for the 2 different levels of flushes on the toilet. Like which
yeah, right. Which one do you want to pay for? You want to pay for half or
2? Mate, dude, it just feels. I know we're joking, right? But it just feels like
it's someone's wet dream, isn't it?
It feels like it's just so. I don't know. I can crap on about this forever. I don't want to bore people.
The nice thing is that the nice thing I've found is that I don't. I mean, up here in Queensland, people don't give a shit. No one's asking me to QR in or anything like that. No one's really doing it. There's already starting to be lots of non-compliance just through laziness. You know what I mean?
Do you know how many people I know who are who are leaving their jobs, like who have basically lost their jobs?
Really?
Down. I know probably about 10 different people. 10 different people. I actually know a couple of people who have been studying, and what they're studying, they've been told that they need to get, because what they're doing is to do with like hands-on stuff, and they need to get
Hey mate, maybe we should shut down this stream. I'm going to have a whole lot of dogs going off in a minute or two.
Yeah.
Just someone's coming and say the dogs are all going to go.
I think it's a good time. We've been on for almost 3 hours. Well, and 2 hours and a half. I think we've had a good stream.
It's pretty late for you now. Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, man, and doing the stream with me tonight. It was sort of, we just came up with the idea this afternoon. I want to thank everyone in the chat, and wish everyone a good weekend, and look after yourself. Look after yourselves, and stay safe, and hex on. And we'll see you on Tuesday.
See everyone. Thanks heaps.
See you later, guys.